Ever since ObamaCare was discussed, passed, signed, and even now, people have been complaining about it. Well, here's my take on it. Now that the government's website is somewhat up and running, it's given me a chance to actually look into it. In fact, over the past few days, people have been talking about all these millions of people who have lost their coverage in spite of the claims that if you like your coverage, you're not going to lose it. And some of the explanations were given is these people have worthless junk type of insurance. So let me say on the front end, according to the definitions from the government, I have a gold level plan. It pays about 80% of my coverage. And having said that, I did a comparison between my existing gold level plan, which thankfully was grandfathered in, and the gold level plan offered through the health exchange. And what I found out is that the premium is almost double through the government. Now, here's the complication. Within the media, a lot of the apologists were saying, yeah, but that's before the subsidies. All right, fine. Then where do I find out the information about the subsidies? Oh, I know. I have to sign on to the website, give them my name, rank, and serial number so I can complete the comparison shopping. Now, if I'm doing comparison shopping of anything else, I wouldn't have to tell the store who I am and everything like that. I do not have to show an ID just to be able to shop in some store. That's one of the nice things about comparison shopping. You make your decision, and then you tell them who you are when you go to pay them. But no, not with the federal government. You see, they won't do the subsidy unless you tell them everything about you on the front end. Well, I find that unsatisfactory. But it doesn't address the underlying problem, though. Why is the premium doubled anyways? Now, with the subsidy, maybe I may pay less money for better coverage. Who knows? We may never find out. But just the comparison of gold level to gold level and having a premium that's doubled is rather dubious into itself. It doesn't matter, really, whether or not the customers are paying less or paying more, because the insurance companies are being paid a whole lot more. It was basically robbing Peter to pay Paul. What the ObamaCare has done is allowed the insurance companies to double their premiums with impunity under the guise that some, if not all of it's going to be paid for by the federal government. Oh yeah, it looks good on paper for the consumers, but somebody's still paying the bills. And if you're going to use the subsidies as the basis of, oh yeah, it's going to be cheaper for you, those subsidies have to keep going on and on and on. What happens when the subsidy outstrips the capacity for the government to keep it up? We as the consumers are going to get stuck with a huge bill. It basically sounds to me like a bait and switch, and I'm not about to fall victim to that if I can all help it. What happens also with the subsidies? Well, it's based on your income. Yeah, but if I were to sign on with the government's website, which income would they use? The last taxes I filed were for the tax year 2012. But what if my income's different in 2013, which it probably will be, or about 2014? Which income do we use for determining and defining what our subsidy is going to be? You see, if the income that they use is too high, then I'm going to be paying a lot more for my insurance on a month-to-month basis, but I should get a difference back when I do my taxes sometime in the spring of 2015. So in essence, I'm being ripped off throughout the course of 2014 in hopes of being reimbursed in 2015. Or, what happens if my income changes and they are using a lower income? Well, then my subsidy is much higher. I'm not paying as much on a month-to-month basis until I do my taxes. I then get hit with several $1,000s in extra taxes because the subsidy wasn't the right amount. Either of those two extremes can have a devastating effect. Either I starve throughout the year because I have to pay extra, or I starve at the very end because I don't have tens of thousands of dollars to make up the difference. So, in conclusion, who's really benefiting from ObamaCare? Is it us? Is it insurance companies? Or is it the politicians who cooked this up and tried to justify their own phony baloney jobs?